Thank you.
It's a recording for students that aren't here today, so they can see the lesson and put it on the website. But Wyatt, Medina, Anna, and Edward, if you guys want to move more on this side of the room, because I'm going to do a read aloud, because I know it's hard, and we're going to be on this board. So if you want to move here, Medina, to Jacob's seat.
Everything's been cleaned since last night, so you're
Yeah.
fine.
You'll be okay.
Wyatt, how about you come over here and sit in Ben's seat? Yeah. Anna, you want to come up too, babe?
It might be easier to see.
Yep.
So we're going to start with the read aloud.
You could take ones, you could take Elfries. I think that's
okay?
a great spot for you, Edward.
Okay. All right. So, we're going to be starting to read the book, The Snowy Day. Can you raise your hand if you've read this book before or heard of this book? Okay. So some. Yes, this is a Caldecott book, so fun fact, at the end of this lesson, you could put your name on the board with this number on it, which is 26, which will be awesome. Okay, so I know some of us have read this book before, but we're going to start talking about something else with it. But for first thing, we are going to just read it for fun. I just want you to relax and just listen to the story, okay? Okay, I'll try my best to see the pictures. But The Snowy Day. Okay. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. He walked with his toes pointing in like this. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. There he is walking. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow, and another, and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. Okay. Yeah, it's a really cute story, but I just wanted you to listen to that once. Just relax, just listening to it. But now we're going to talk about setting. Has anyone heard of the word setting before? Can someone tell me a little bit of what they know? Daniel, what do you know about setting?
Like, the setting is like something in a book where like it explains what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I like that one. Devlin? Awesome. So you're talking about the place of the story. Awesome. That's a great one. Amitha? The place where the story takes place. Jake? Where the story is. Awesome. Yeah, that just goes with the place, right? James? The place. Awesome. So we all have an idea of setting, and it's kind of where the story takes place. Can you guys agree with that one? Awesome. So that's a little bit of where everyone knows, or that's where everyone kind of starts with setting. So I'm going to put this up, and we're going to fill out this chart together, but we're going to think about these ideas. Okay. So our first one is place. So everyone that said that, we will write it up in this first line. Okay, so there's two other things with setting. Maybe think about, so you're having your setting. You have the place of your story. What about the place can you describe? Daniel, do you have an idea? Yeah. Like, how could you describe your setting?
Like, I can describe it snowy, I can describe what the capital is of it.
Yeah, I like how Daniel used the word snowy, because that will be our third one, which is kind of like the environment / mood of the setting, right? Snowy, dark. So just to describe your setting, kind of what creates the mood, right? Sunny, snowy. Those are great weather ones, so I will write that one up. Good job, Daniel. Okay. And then we're missing one more. I can give you guys a minute. Jake?
What is there?
What is there? That's true. That could probably go in the environment / mood. What's in the environment? Maybe think about, this could give it away a little bit. Think of a clock. What do you think the setting could do with a clock? Willa?
Time.
The time, right? Because when you think of a setting, you could say it could be morning, it could be night.
Or it could be 1,000 years ago.
It could be 1,000 years. Exactly. It could be before time, in the future.
It could be in 20 years.
Or before our time. That's what I meant. The past. It could be from the past, the future, the present. I like that. So that is our second one. So we have place, time, environment / mood. That is the setting. Or those are the three things we are going to be focusing on through this book and our lessons. Okay? So we have place here. It's kind of like the where, right? A lot of us talked about the place being where the story is taking place. Right? Awesome. The when, we talked about the clock, which is? The time. Yeah, awesome. The time. And then our last one is the what. So what can we're describing it. Anna?
Environment.
Environment / the mood. Exactly. So you can kind of talk about what the setting looks like or what it includes, like kind of what Jake said. I really like that. Can someone give us an example of a place? We'll take like 3 examples of each. Medina. A farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. We'll have that one. Can I get another one? Devlin? A big city. Love it. Okay, one more. Daniel.
Like, out in the country.
Out in the country. What about time? I know we kind of talked about this one already, but what were 3 examples of time? Edward?
Well, we're the dinosaurs.
Yeah, so would you say kind of like the past?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. James?
Versus in the future.
The future? Awesome. And Anna?
And this time, like, right now.
Right now, the present? Yeah. And when we're thinking about the time, and especially maybe the present, we could say early in the morning, right? Because not too early, but it's like 8 in the morning, right? Yeah, we could talk about that in your time too. This is specific time of the day. Awesome. Now our last one. What's an example of some environment / mood of the setting? Jake?
Dark
Yeah.
and cold.
What would you say?
Like dark and
Dark.
cold.
Dark and tall.
Dark and cold.
Dark and
Cold.
cold. Yeah. Sorry, my hearing is so bad sometimes. Awesome. Can someone else give us an example of something we can describe? Daniel?
Maybe like, scary.
Scary. Yeah. Especially with Halloween that just passed, you could have probably described some of your a haunted house, right? Or something like that. And last one, Amita?
Maybe like,
Homey. Mhm. Cozy. Awesome. Cozy and comfortable. Do you mind if I just put those two? Well, we can add and equals. No, say equals homey. Okay. We're going to go over 2 more things before we reread it. Can the setting change in the story? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you think? You guys are right. The setting can change in the story. In the morning you could be one place, in the night you can be in another, right? Or you go, like in your day today, you go from school.
Walk 1 step, then it's gonna change.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
1 millimeter. Then nothing would make the setting change because the world's spinning.
Mhm.
And the time.
What'd you say?
The time.
Yeah. Exactly. In the setting blank, what happens in the story? So, do you guys think the setting relates to the story? Or like relates what happens? Do you think it's an important part of the story to think about what's happening? Do you think without the setting the story would be good? Wouldn't it, how would it be hard? Can someone raise their hand? What if there was no setting in the story? Jake, what would happen? Right? You wouldn't know. Exactly. It would be so hard to know.
Well,
what's going on.
around him, and then he'd just be talking.
Yeah.
And it'll be like still blank, but still static.
Yeah.
Always
Exactly. Those are both great things because it without the picture or the setting, you can't picture it in your head, right? It makes it so much harder to actually get into the story and picture it in your head, right? See what's going on. Awesome. Awesome job helping me fill out this chart. So now we're going to reread The Snowy Day, and I want you to think of the place, the time, and the environment and mood of the story, okay? Think of maybe one example of each when we're listening, okay? Does that make sense? Medina?
about the time.
Yep.
When we were reading the book,
Mhm.
you don't know what year it is. Or what
Maybe think about another part of time. Morning, nights.
Oh.
Think of that kind of stuff.
What time of year?
Yeah. What season?
What time of year it is?
Exactly. So yeah, you won't know if it's past, future, present, but maybe think of the actual time of the day in the story. What they're trying to tell us. Is it dark outside? And is it morning? Is it night? Okay? But if you have more questions, we can talk about that after we read. But, all right, so make sure you think, okay, of one of these 3 examples, because we're going to do a little activity about that to end our lesson. Okay, round 2, the snowy day. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put his snowsuit on and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. He walked with his toes pointing in like this. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head.
I hope it's waterproof. That's what he's wearing.
What was it?
I hope his outfit is waterproof.
Yeah, you would hope, right? Because the snow would make it so wet. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. Sorry, I skipped a page. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. Okay, so that was the second round of the reading. So, does everyone kind of have a little idea of maybe one of these 3 things they could maybe write on a sticky note? Okay, awesome. I'm going to come around and give everyone one sticky note, and you can use the front and the back, and think of a couple things that, or maybe one thing of a place, time, or environment / mood of the story that you could write.
Is it supposed to be like a sentence or just a word?
It could maybe try to write a couple words. Because if you it could actually, it depends. Because in the time, it could be a 1 word, right? You don't have a pencil? Do you want to grab one at your desk? Does everyone have it? Not everyone. Yeah, of course. That's my question. This story, we're going to talk about something like that, setting up the story. Right, and just write on the sticky note, okay?
I feel like I'm going to go back.
ink right here. I'll give you an example. So for an example, I can write my own, and we can put it up on there. Or we're going to put this chart up too. Because we're all going to come up, and you're going to place your sticky note in the right section you think it is. Either in place, time, or environment / mood. Do you have a question? Yep.
So you're like writing examples of what you say, like it's in the
Yeah, you would give an example about in the book about the place, time, or environment. So something that maybe you saw in the book or read or listened to. Yeah, you can go back to your desk. And just write it on your sticky note. Okay. So for example, my example that I'm going to write on my sticky note is the crunchy snow-filled streets. So that, what place would that go in? Do you guys know? The crunchy snow-filled streets. Is that talking about the place, the time, or the environment? Mm-hmm. Because we're talking about what? The streets. So I would just write on my sticky note, and then you're going to come up here and then place it where you think it is. You're done? Can you make sure to put your name on it as well, too? You can put it on the back of it if that's easier so you don't have to. Oh, perfect. Oh, exactly. So that's good, too. Do you want it 3 sticky notes then? Do you want to read? Because you're going to place them under the category. You want to keep it on your desk for now and then just write these. Does that make sense? Okay. If you're ready, I want you to come up here, make sure your name's on it, and put it in the section that you think yours is about. Awesome. Do you know? Oh, that's okay. As long as you put it on with your name, we will figure it out. Perfect. That's okay. Do you want to place it just your top one? Which one do you want to put under? You can just explain it to me. Okay. This right?
Yeah, I know.
I like that one.
I'm not sure if it's in environment or place.
Because you're describing like snowy, dark, like see all these words. I think you feel it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's exactly because you have that last part. Awesome. Leave your name on there. Wait, would you put this? Oh yeah, because it's environment. Yeah, good job. Okay. Did everyone quiet? And then Cora, Jar. Okay. Yep. A little bit more. Just take your time. Okay. And which one would that go under? Exactly. Perfect. That's okay. I think it could be there too. Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, no problem. So we have just a little more time to catch up. Yeah, of course. You want to take it off, or you want to just write it on there? Take it. Yeah, you can add. you put it in the middle. You want to put it on the line? That'd be kind of cool to talk about. That is very true. Anything from places? Awesome. Great. I love that example. Let me throw it up. You ready, Jeff? Okay, come back in. And which one do you think is the one there? Please? We can talk about it, right? You want me to put it in the middle, right here? And we can talk about that. Okay, does everyone have their sticky note up on the chart?
Yeah, I have one there.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody want to come up and share theirs? Amita, did you want to come up and tell us what you said and why you put it up here?
I said morning after breakfast because he told us the first day that after breakfast we went outside.
Mm-hmm. So she said the morning after breakfast, right? Is that what you put on there? Outside in the morning after breakfast. So then she put that in the time and place because it was after morning. Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect. I know some of us might have got that too. But does anyone else want to come up here and talk about what they put on there? Anyone? No? Jory, did you want to talk about yours? Or I can help you talk about it too. Because yours is really cool. I like it.
He went outside after breakfast and the streets were filled with snow and he went down the hill and made snow.
Awesome. So Jory talked about how it was after his breakfast in the morning. So I told him he could probably put it in between time and environment because he explains how after he went outside there was snow. He went down that huge mountain to slide. So that's kind of in the environment part, right? The snow part of it. And then he had his early morning part. So I told him he could put it right in the middle because it has a little bit of both. Anyone else want to explain theirs? There's great ones on here. I mean, his house, hills of snow, sheets of snow, could be in the place. His house. It talks about his warm house. What would we put warm under? What was it? Place. And what would we put the word warm under? Amita? Yeah, and that's what we all kind of talked about. Tall and white snow. It being snowy, calm and peaceful. Snow. The snow was everywhere. I like that one. A crunchy snow-filled street. Awesome. And yes, another snow. So perfect. Awesome. Okay. Awesome job. So now we just introduced a little bit of place time. Do you have another one? You want to put it up? Yeah. Which one's that going there? The time was after breakfast. Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect. That would go perfectly right under times. That tells us where the story, or when the story was taking place, right? The when. But anyway, these three things are what we're going to focus on with setting. So tomorrow, we're going to start with a graphic or Monday. We don't have school tomorrow. Monday, we're going to start with a graphic organizer together about this story. And we're going to use what we put on here, the sticky notes, to kind of help us fill it out. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? Can someone tell us what the three things of setting are? Try to block them. Amita.
Time, place, and environment.
Yes.